Good morning. Welcome to nearly the 9 a.m. update as we have our storm getting ready, or is in the process of right now, of pivoting, which is going to set up our deformation band that's going to march across the northern mid-Atlantic through the rest of this morning. Currently, we have temperatures now at or below freezing over much of the New York City metro, over the northern interior, around freezing on the I-95 corridor. Philadelphia's at 33, New York City's at 33, 32. Long Island is around 32 to 33 degrees. We've seen the temperatures fall throughout the morning as the storm has evolved. We've gone from rain to sleet to snow, and now we have moderate to heavy snowfall, with some locations reporting anywhere between 1 to 2 inches per hour. It is snowing very heavy out here in Freehold, New Jersey, where visibility is below a half a mile easily. Looking at some of the observations here, 33 with heavy snow, visibility down to a quarter of a mile, getting very close to near zero visibility in many locations. Visibility around a quarter of a mile around Chester County in Coatesville, Pennsylvania. In Belmar, we're down to a half a mile visibility, temperature around 32 degrees. And then as we head towards the north here, let's take a look at Somerville, New Jersey, Somerset Airport. We have a quarter of a mile visibility, vertical visibility only 600 feet, with heavy snowfall being reported. So you get the idea here. We have heavy snow throughout the region, very poor visibility, and it is all accumulating. The concern of whether or not the boundary layer was going to be able to get cold enough to support accumulation has been answered. And the answer is yes, it has been able to get cold enough. And I think part of that, to be honest with you, is we had that layer of sleet that occurred before the changeover from rain to snow. And that led the uh, ability for the ground to cool rapidly. So you had that sleet and then you had the snowfall on top of it. So you have an icy mess out there. So definitely be aware of that if when you are shoveling this snowfall. So here we are. We're at the point where we have the pivot. Okay. We have our low pressure system off the coastal waters of the Delmarva Peninsula. And you have the precipitation shield starting to pivot as our low pressure system intensifies. And what you have here is all of this is snow falling very heavily. When you see with snowfall, because the radar signal is not as strong as when you have regular rain, right? So when you start seeing yellows here, that is some impressive heavy snowfall. And if you don't believe it, then you just have to look out the window because you can see it's snowing pretty heavily out there. And you can tell that by the decline in visibility and also your observations. Now, what we're seeing on the back edge here is that you're seeing all this strong lifting here. You have to have substance somewhere. You have to balance out the atmosphere. So you have all this rising motion setting up on the I-95 corridor. You have sinking motion to the west. And so that's why you get this sharp cutoff that's shown up here. And that's why this whole precipitation event is going to be ending pretty quickly from west to east as we head towards the late morning hours and towards the early afternoon. So for eastern Pennsylvania, I say you go to about 11:30 or so, let's say to about Philadelphia. New Jersey, to it gets to New Jersey coast by the time we get to about 12:30, and then gets to eastern Long Island and Connecticut around 2 p.m. So you can see how that whole evolution is taking shape and how that precipitation shield is evolving with the intensity. You can also see the pivot very nicely here on the infrared satellite picture. You can see the strong lifting backing towards central New Jersey, Long Island, Connecticut, the Hudson River Valley, northern New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania. You can also see it very nicely here on the water vapor satellite picture. There's your pivot, right? There's your 700 millibar low. There's your upper level dynamics. Here's your dry slot. And here is your deformation zone marching through. So when we take a look at the latest HRR, let's refresh this real fast and see if we can get some new data loaded in here. We'll go to 12Z and you can see the evolution here. So we got a couple more hours of heavy snowfall, and then we end by about noon, 12:30, somewhere around there, for eastern Pennsylvania and much of the Philadelphia metro. For New Jersey, again, by about 2 o'clock, we come to an end for everyone in New Jersey. And for Connecticut, I'd say about 2:33. So the evolution here is pretty much taking place as expected. Now the question simply is, how much? In the meantime, please stay safe out there. Please stay off the roads. And I'll see you in the next hour.